Hello Clarets fans, Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications, otherwise you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it!
He's spitting Glenn Little, look at us.
Enjoy the video and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.
Trying to find Chris McCann. Can Chris McCann take this left foot? Chance for Elliott. Oh, what a goal! Wayne Elliott! Right foot special on 13 minutes. The whistle's gone. Burnley are there. They're in the Premiership. They dared to dream. And reality has happened. Burnley are there. They're in the Premiership. Fantastic win. Just wait for this roar now as Steven Caldwell lifts the trophy. Burnley.
Well, welcome to YouTube for this special walk down memory lane of many ways. In 2009, 11 years ago it's been, and we've got a special guest with us tonight. Welcome, Stevie Caldwell.
I really appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to this, reminiscing about, one of the biggest days, I guess, of both our lives, but such a special day, and probably for many of the people watching and listening today.
It was amazing. It was just simply amazing, wasn't it, for everybody concerned?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I think what was our slogan, Dare to Dream, I always bring that up because I think it's so important, because as the season went on, we dreamt more and more, and we just started to believe that something was possible with this group of players. And so to end that at Wembley with, promotion to the Premier League is so special, and fond memories. Although it was 11, you remember a lot of parts of that day so vividly.
Let's just catch up with you first. You live in Canada these days. How's life over there?
Yeah, I'm in Canada. I came to Toronto FC and in the MLS at the end of my career. As I played a couple of years, and then I got the chance to stay in Toronto. It's a fantastic city for anybody who's not been. Great country, good people, and a lot of opportunities here. I do a lot of broadcasting and different things. Keep the soccer, as we call it, but football environment over here, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm pretty happy, and obviously I keep an eye on Burnley amongst some of my other former teams, but life's good in Canada, and football's growing at a great rate, and it's fun.
Yeah, we still follow you on Twitter and follow your exploits. When you look back at your career, Steve, where does Wembley 2009 and that promotion rank in your career?
That's a great question. It's obviously right up there. I think that I've always tried. I've always tried really hard not to rate, my big experiences. I include playing for my country, playing with my brother for my country, playing with my brother in the Premier League, winning promotion with Sunderland, scoring a goal in that kind of promotion game, and winning the actual championship trophy with Sunderland in 2004, 2005. But if I had to be pushed and you really had to kind of force me to answer, I think playing at Wembley first and foremost was something I always dreamed of, and then to win a game that meant so much to a community and to a football club, and to walk these steps and lift a trophy, it's hard to beat that. It was so special, and the longer time goes on, I think that just keeps kind of pushing itself to the top.
Get to Wembley eventually, but when you look back, that season was quite remarkable in many ways. It was a story of almost heartache with the Carling Cup, and would we get through the playoffs, and then Reading were going to be an obstacle. It was a real rollercoaster season. Capital punishment, of course, was in there as well. Take away Wembley and Reading. What do you remember of the season and that rollercoaster ride?
Just a season of real enjoyment. Just loved every minute it does. I played a lot of games. I felt fit. I was with my mates every single day. I had a manager who trusted me as his captain, who gave me the license to go and lead a team of men in Owen Coyle. I think that was very important for me. He knew what it was all about. He knew what my strengths and my weaknesses are, and he gave me great strength to do what I was good at. And some of the experience, Chelsea in the cup, where we obviously beat them in penalties. I got sent off. The drama of that. I think I was up near you, and then back down the pitch after the penalty, celebrating with the lads. Arsenal, we played them a couple of times that year. I loved playing at the Emirates in the FA Cup, where they put us out in the last 16. And the momentum, the feeling of that year for me was two words really: momentum and then destiny. I just felt that as it went on, and I'd be in my car, maybe an hour's drive from where I lived to Turf Moor for midweek games or Saturday games, just thinking to myself as the season progressed that we're building something here that's really special and that we're destined to achieve something. Maybe unsure what that was at the time, but as it transpired, thankfully for everyone concerned, I think it was promotion to the Premier League and setting up Burnley for the great success that it's had since.
That could easily have been crushed that night against Spurs, because I remember at full time, Chris Eagles thought we'd gone through. That was Chris all over, wasn't he? He didn't know the way. He thought we'd gone through to the final. But to lose that game in the manner you did, lesser teams could have crumbled.
First, I have to say, what an absolutely ridiculous rule. I'm still furious about that rule. 11 years later, it happens after extra time. So you give that side, which was a draw. Remember, there was no seeding, so Spurs were just lucky they were at home first. You give them an extra 30 minutes to reply to the 4-4 scoreline. So I still can't believe it. It was absurd. But of course, their class came through, and an ex-teammate of mine in Toronto here, actually, Jermaine Defoe, I think he got one of the goals in extra time. And we went out, unfortunately, after an outrageous effort. I was suspended, so I watched that game. I think I did Sky. We were on Sky Sports, so I did the Sky Sports booth with Jeff and the panel, and I was so proud of the guys. And I came down after the show and I got into the changing room, and you could sense the disappointment. When you put in that much effort and commitment into a performance, and you get the goals, you get the quality that's needed, and then you fail at the last hurdle, and by a little bit of technicality, it's so easy to be down about it. But this is the beauty of that group of players, and the beauty of Owen and the coaching staff that we had, that while the disappointment was always there right after the game, and that night or that day, the next day it was like, okay, what's next? How do we move forward as a positive experience to make things better? And I can really remember the next day when we came in that Owen was like, right, it's done, it's gone. We were brilliant. It shows what we're capable of. Now let's push forward. And everybody to a man went and did that for the team.
Yeah, indeed. Asking questions tonight by people following us on YouTube. We'll be able to see there's a live chat there on the right-hand side. And a topical question that's coming straight away, which we'll touch on before we move forward. Ben Hickey asked, what was the feeling when Jay Rodriguez scored? I think, from my point of view, I only remember the roof coming off the James Horner stand twice, and that was Robbie Blake's goal against Man United and Jay's goal against Spurs, which was an unbelievable moment.
Yeah, like I said, it was weird because I was a club captain and I wasn't involved in that performance, but my pride in my mates was immense. But I still regard it as probably the single greatest game that I've been involved in. Being a Burnley player, and I'm so gutted I wasn't on the park, but I can't believe that you're playing against a team like Tottenham Hotspur with the quality they had. You're 4-1 down, and you're asked to go and score 3 goals, and if you concede, it's probably too much, and you go and do it. And the way that we did it, like Blake was sensational, and we just kind of took them apart bit by bit. And a team of that quality, for the guys to do that in the Burnley colours that night was really, really special. And I love watching it. The noise was phenomenal. We've heard some great nights at Turf Moor, great days. We've had some good moments, but that was so special, and I think everyone appreciated the magnitude of what they were watching. A championship team doing that to a Premier League big boy was so special.
And one more question before we get to the nub of tonight. Winning away at Plymouth, this is 4-1,000 on our feed here. Winning away at Plymouth in the promotion year when you scored was the catalyst that he felt we were going to go close. Do you feel the same, or was there another game that provided that feeling of, have you said, destiny?
Yeah, I remember that game because I scored. It was a great ball for Blake at the back post, and I got my head in it. And the minute I kind of connected, I knew it was sailing towards the net. Great moment, big game. There was a couple other ones. My memory goes a bit, but I think it was Palace where we were 2-0 down and we won 4-2. It was a midweek game, and that was some performance because again, you're kind of dead and buried at 2-0 against a good team, and we came back, and in the end it was like 4-2 going on 6-2. So we had this kind of like energy to us where when we go in and we were steamrolling along, we were like really hard to beat. We were a team that nobody wanted to play. But momentum was a big thing. Momentum was something that was building the whole time. We felt so confident in each other. We had a great trust for each other as players and what we could do. And it was something that was heading towards the playoffs, because we were only certain in the playoffs till the last game of the season, were we, when we beat Bristol? So that was another one. That was another big game. But I just felt like that feeling of momentum and destiny was just taking us there, and it was going to happen because of the trust I had in my teammates.
Well, let's get to Reading, because destiny was in the balance a little bit when we played Reading at home, and we played 89 minutes, 83 minutes maybe it was, at home, 0-0. There's frustration setting in around the place. It felt like it was going to be one of those days. Yeah,
the worst game we played in a few months, wasn't it? We were hopeless that day. We were never great against Reading that season. They had a bit of a hold over us. We had some. I think Beastie had a magnificent game against them at home in the league, where he just, one of the games where big Brian Jensen, just nothing's gone past him, is there? He's just saving everything. And I'm sure we beat them 1-0 with a Blakey goal, but we got turned over at their place. And then, we got them in the playoffs, and they were a good team. They had some excellent players, and they'd been around the league, and they'd been around the top of the championship for a few years. They had continuity, and it was no mean task to kind of get past them. And we never played well. We were a bit apprehensive, sort of hanging in the game a little bit, and knew that we really didn't want to concede a goal. And my overriding feeling of that is, we get our penalty, and you immediately just walk back to the halfway line and wait for the team to start the match, because Greza's putting it away. He just knew that right away, and he's got nerves of steel, and he's going to put it in the back of the net. So he did that. And then obviously Andre Biquet, a teammate of us the next season, gets sent off. A moment, Andre, and one of their most important defenders and players. And so my feeling is, I can't remember anything Owen said after the game. I'm sure it was all positive words. And I got in my car and I'm driving back to my home, and I'm thinking, they can't beat us. Like, we've just played as bad as we can play. They've gave it everything. We've beat them 1-0. They're losing one of their most important players. They can't beat us. We can't be as bad again, and we're going to go through. And I just had that overwhelming confidence, which is not me. I'm not a guy that thinks I'm going to win every game. Obviously, I believe I'm going to win every game when I go into it, but I always assess it, try and be level-headed about it. But I just knew we were going to go through because of the way that first leg had went.
And yet, I seem to recall we were slight underdogs going into that second leg. I think the 1-goal lead, people felt Reading are at home, they'll get the goal, they'll be back in it. But you went to Reading, and I think that whole display was full of grit and determination, everything that you wanted on the night.
Yeah, you're right in saying that we were underdogs. I think a number of reasons. I think because of the quality they had and the experience. I think everyone likes to make Burnley underdogs in every game, and it's still going on in the Premier League these days. And I estimated what we had in terms of quality and spirit. And I also believe that just because of the way that first leg went, that people were thinking, well, Burnley rode their luck at times. Reading are going to have some moments in the second leg, and they did have some moments. They had a lot of moments. We went in there. We were again aware of what was going to come. Position. We had assessed them well, and we were confident, but we were realistic about how tough it was going to be. And I can remember the kind of chats before the game, and then going into the game and just thinking, right, let's get in past the first 10 minutes without conceding. Let's get to 20 minutes. Get to half time. It sounds simple, but that's what you do as a defender. That's what you do as a football player. You take it in these smaller increments, and you just try and hit your goals, your targets at that time. And when we hit half time, and we bent, but we never broke. But when we hit half time and we were still at 0-0, then we always felt in second halves that we had a lot of fitness and a lot of energy to go and have our moments. I don't know if we had any real moments in that first half, but in the second half, I was confident they were going to come, and I think we had weathered the worst of the storm. So confidence Owen was brilliant at doing that at half time, saying the right things and making you feel 10 foot tall with, you know, a couple little comments.
I'm glad you said that, because I was an absolute nervous wreck at the top of that stand with Phil Bird when the second half started. But if you're going to ever want a moment to settle the nerves, I mean, Pato has probably never hit a ball as sweetly in his life. I mean, it's still one of the most iconic moments of following Bird in my lifetime.
Yeah, just the 2 goals that night, Tomo's and Pato's goals were just, you know, top goals of the season, I'd say. It was just absolutely unbelievable. Tomo's he'll kill me for saying this if he's listening or if he ever hears this. Tomo's was a bit opportunistic. It was still a great goal, but Pato's was sublime. You know, to hit it like that with a kind of inside of your, you know, curl it with your foot for that distance. And Hanneman, I'm sure, was in goals. A top goalie like Marcus Hanneman was unbelievable. You know, it was a great goal and a great strike. And you know, when it went 2-0, 1-0, you're still edgy, but 2-0, you're thinking that's it. You know, the way Clarkey and I were defending at that point in the back four, and you know the team were supporting us. I knew we were in like tip-top form, you know, and I just thought 2-0, no way they're coming back.
I had forgotten how early in the second half that goal came. It was only about 5 minutes into the second half. It felt like we weathered a bit of a storm again, but you're right. Once we went 1-0 up in the night, and we were thinking they need 3. They need 3 now. This one got Spurs. They needed 3 all of a sudden. And they were never going to get that. And you're right, Tomo's goal is just something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something else. It's just outrageous to try it and to just so special, you know. And so, yeah, like I said, the confidence was there at half time. You know, I think 0-0 was, we were like, we've weathered it. They've gave us their best again, and they've still not managed to score against us. So, you know, when you take the league action where we beat them 1-0 in the second encounter, and then Turfmoor in the first leg of the playoffs, and then obviously Majeski in the second leg, you've gone like, well, they've got Doyle and they've got Hunt and they've got all these brilliant players, but they're giving us everything and we're answering them, you know. So I felt really good going into that second half, you know, obviously confident but cautious and thinking, you know, just keep doing our jobs, keep thinking about the little steps, you know. But when that goal goes in, you're like, that's it, you know. Again, destiny. This is meant to happen to us, and I keep saying that, but it's the ridiculous thing. When you have that level of confidence, it's such a special blend of chemistry and characters and personalities. You know, it's like it doesn't happen very often. There's very few times in my career that I've been going onto parts thinking like, can't get beat. I'm just going to keep winning and winning and winning. And it comes from, first and foremost, the manager and the way that he messages things throughout an entire year. And then it comes from a group of players who believe in each other and who trust in the process that they're going through and the way that they're playing and the style that they've got. And it's unique. And we need to recognise it, because when every little thing goes good for you, you take it to another level, that you magnify it to like something crazy, and you never really let the little blips hurt you too much, because you've got the confidence to shake them off. And we were that kind of team, weren't we?
We've just seen the full-time whistle. I'm very privileged in my role to be down in those sort of back sanctum areas when events like this happen. The one thing that I always remember about that is you never went back out to see the fans. It was very much a job's not done yet. And the fans were clamouring for you to go back out. But I think Owens, it might have been Owens, said, no, we're not doing it yet. Nothing's done yet.
Yeah, it's funny because the gaffer used to get so weird when we sort of eventually achieved something, didn't we? When there was more to come, because he always thought of like what was next, you know. And I think it was some of maybe the scars that he had in his managerial career when he lost the league at Falkirk in the last seconds, and you know he had that experience for playing as well. So it was like enjoy it and then, you know, move on. And it was almost same with defeats, I guess. But at Reading, when we won that game, we went, you know, we had 5 minutes and we cheered and we enjoyed it and we're hugging each other. And I can remember the gaffer going around saying, right, back in, we've still got a game to go. Humility, show some respect. You know, you're in someone's stadium and you don't gloat and you don't kind of over celebrate. And I love that about him. I thought that was like really classy for him, you know, the way that he you know, he knew that it was going to sting them and it was going to, you know, hurt his fellow manager, Steve Coppell, and probably end. I think he resigned after the game, didn't he? And he left Reading. So he always had that class to realise, yeah, you celebrate and you enjoy it, but people here as well, and they're going through some tough moments. So I think it was a bit of that and a bit of like stay focused on what would be next, the playoff final.
Yeah, after that, I remember it probably was maybe going on 2 weeks, maybe before the final. I think you went away to Portugal for a few days. Remember, Atlee, for a bit of a break to get away from it all, and then the build-up all starts to the big one.
Yeah, we got in the bus on the way back, and we were happy, and we were cheering, but no crazy celebrations or anything like that in the bus. We knew what was left, and we knew it was going to be a tough match. I can't remember if we knew the opponents at that time, but we knew whoever it would be, it was going to be a tough match, and we and Owen was making calls and asking for some money to go and take us away, because he felt it was important that we don't get stuck in our homes and at the training ground after a long season, just kind of waiting on this final. I think you're right. I think it was probably 13 days. We played on the Tuesday at Reading, and then it would be the sort of
Monday.
13. Yeah. So a long time to be at Gawthorpe and just kind of going through training. So he was working hard to get us away. Thankfully, the club found some money, and they sent us away, and we went to Portugal for 3 or 4 days, and it was a brilliant trip because it was something for everybody. We were training there, and we were still keeping sharp, of course, but we were letting our hair down as well, if you can do that at the same time. And so it was a couple of beers and a nice do what you have to do to kind of get a rest, but be ready for when we come back to get into the real hard work. You're
speaking like a proper skipper there. Listen, we had Robbie Blake talking about 2009. He let the cat out the bag. There was more than a few beers.
The first night we had too many, Blakey and I, Stevie and Duffo, and it's a funny story. I hope Duffo doesn't mind me telling it, but we went out and there was nothing planned, and we had too many beers, but we had a good night. And I woke up in the morning. We were training at, let's say, 10 a.m. I wake up at 9 and I'm thinking, oh, I'm so rough here. This is horrible. And I think, I don't know how I'm getting through training today. And I look to my right and I see Michael Duff 10 times worse than me. And I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm going to be fine because he's worse. And I got great strength at the fact that he looked a lot rougher than me. So yeah, we had a few beers. A couple of lads weren't happy, but we apologised. And there was guys going out at different times, and everyone was playing golf, going to the beach, getting what they needed at the trip, and that was what was important. We still trained. Nobody missed a day's training. Everybody put the work in, but it was more of a case of allow the pressure just to dissipate a little bit and settle in, and then when we get back to Burnley and as we head to London, we know it's just ramp up and get bigger and bigger as the game gets closer.
Suited and booted, we headed down to London, and a little thing I remember is we stayed at a hotel called the Bull Inn. I don't know if you remember it or not, Stevie, but we stayed there earlier in the season when we beat Chelsea.
Yep, and never forget it.
So there was a definite psychology thing there about staying back in that hotel.
Yeah, I could never forget that hotel. It was Owen's hotel. I was in the Bull Hotel. The way he was taking us here the whole time. Yeah, he was like. He was a superstitious guy, and we went there for the Chelsea game, and I think we went there another time as well, didn't we? We were pretty much there. Yeah, so we were there a lot.
I remember Stevie Thompson when we beat Chelsea. I think he was still in the bar about 5 a.m. playing his guitar, chucking out the Oasis tunes.
Yeah, because we played Chelsea in the midweek. We beat them with penalties, of course, and then I think we played QPR. I'm sure we stayed in London for the next 4 or 5 days because we had a London game at the weekend, and QPR. That night we had a few beers. We had a nice few beers and a sing along with Thomas guitar and enjoyed each other's company, and then. That was it. The Bull was our London hotel, and we were heading back to Wembley, and we're staying at the Bull, which is about 45 minutes from Wembley. It's like it's nowhere close, and you've got all these hotels. Your mates have played in finals, playoff finals, FA Cup, whatever it may be, and everyone's staying at the Landmark, and they're staying in Kensington, and they're staying at these unbelievable hotels, and Owen's insisting that we're going back to the Bull. And we're pulling our hair out going, can we just go to, one of these swanky hotels? But that wasn't our thing, was it? But same thing as always, and just get on with it. And we felt familiar with it, even though we were miles away from the stadium.
And we've just seen some pictures there. The fans will be wondering what's all that about. On the morning of the game, it was stretch your legs time, and the stretch your legs literally was a walk around a local housing estate opposite the hotel. Opposite the hotel.
So a funny story about that hotel as well. When we played Chelsea, I had to go through a fitness test, and Andy Mitchell and I did the fitness test on the green across the road for the hotel, just a public park. And Mitch, he was thinking, what if the captain goes down rolling his ankle here? I don't know what I had, maybe a tight hamstring or something, and checking out this hamstring, and Mitch was worried that I was going to go into one of the potholes. But yeah, that was just the things that we did. We just made the best of whatever we had, and we went for the walk. And you're right, it was right in the middle, wasn't it? Like it wasn't really a salubrious area. It was it felt like a council estate.
Two old dears went past with the shopping. There's a picture of two old dears walking past with the shopping while you lads are all walking past.
Tracksuits. The picture that you sent me, I'm on my phone because obviously I've promised about 30 tickets and only 20, so I'm panicking. How am I going to get everybody into the game? And everybody's just enjoying our company. We were so close, who we loved hanging out with each other. We would finish lunch and we'd stay there and talk at the stadium, and we'd laugh and we'd say we better get back. It's like 3:30 and our wives are going to think what the heck's going on. But we were guys who just really, really enjoyed spending time with each other and having a laugh.
We went to Wembley the night before. The Scunthorpe were in the playoff final the day before us. I think it was Owen's idea, presumably, to take you guys to Wembley on the evening after that game finished, while there's debris everywhere and the branding was stuck from the previous playoffs, just to get a feel for the place. And it was a scorching hot evening. I remember that, but that was probably important for you guys, just to get an idea of the place, wasn't it, before you walked back out there on the day?
Stroke of genius by Owen again to take us there, and we weren't happy at the time. We didn't want to get in the bus and go to Wembley. We were complaining, the guys were complaining, and I'm managing that. Like, my job as a captain is like, guys, listen, it's the gaffer's idea. But I can remember thinking, this is crazy. We're driving too far to go and see a stadium that we've saw 100 times, Only a few of us had been there and played. I think maybe Greza had, but I don't know how many more. But it was a stroke of genius, because his theory with this was, get to the stadium, it's Wembley, it's jaw-dropping when you get there, and have that moment the night before. Take your pictures. I walked up a few rows and sat in one of the seats and just kind of surveyed it, and walked the length of the pitch, and everyone does their own thing to kind of prepare mentally for the next day. And we're probably there 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the changing rooms, have a look around, where would I be sitting, and this kind of thing. And I thought it was a stroke of genius, because like you said, when we get there the next day and we're going to be late, we'll get to that. But, there's none of that going on. There's none of that shock and awe about it being Wembley. You've seen it the night before. So you go and play, you've got the business head on, and it's time to go. And even although it was a hazard at the time, because it was quite a bus journey and to get there and then back, it was a stroke of genius, because it meant the next day we were calm, prepared and focused on the job.
Do you remember what Owen said? We've just seen some pictures there of the lads. I remember you went back into the dressing room afterwards. You relegated the home dressing room that year, and Owen sat you all down for a little speech. It wasn't as big as the Any Given Sunday speech, but it was, in its own way, it was just possibly as important.
Yeah, I can't remember it, but
it was very much a Wembley style.
Right, so I could have guessed it, and I was going to try and guess it, because I just know what he's like. It was probably around about the fact that how good we were and how we deserved to be there, and how when you get these opportunities you don't let them pass you by, and so I think that was the theme. Wembley's not for losers. Obviously, it's like, you can't enjoy Wembley if you've lost. I can't really remember that, to be honest. It's crazy the things that I vividly remember, and a lot of the things that I forgot. But I remember us being confident, but it's just kind of calm and assured, and there was no drama. I did an article for someone a few days ago, and they asked if I gave a big speech or what. No, that wasn't really our thing. We weren't a big speech kind of team. We were like, go and do your job and do it properly and trust in your teammates and you'll win the game. It was simple as that. So I'm sure it had that tone, but I wish I could remember it, or I wish you had recorded it.
You said there was no drama, but there was drama on the day itself.
Unbelievable. And I was furious because I hated getting to stadiums late. You know, I always stadiums, if I was in an away game, obviously I got there when the bus got there, but I hated not having at least an hour and a half to get me. You know, remember I taped up all my toes and, you know, I did stuff to my boots, and I had this little routine that most players have that took me a while to kind of get in the mindset and get things done right. So I was disappointed, you know. I was pacing up and down the bike, making sure everybody was all right. But again, hindsight of victory is great because now I'm actually glad we were late. It gave us less time to kind of stress about the game. Maybe we were stressed in the bus anyway. But I
we
also...
We had a police escort. We were late. We had a police escort. That problem.
It's crazy. And I remember seeing the fans on the side of the, you know, as we got to Wembley. And I'm glad we got to experience that. You know, it was packed by that point, wasn't it? Because it's like an hour to kick off. And so everybody's there, everybody's at like Wembley Way, and the way that we came into the stadium, it was a beautiful day, of course. And I can remember seeing that and thinking, wow, this is a great privilege and a great experience to be part of this.
And as for the game itself, what are your memories of it? I still remember the goal, the full-time whistle, and pretty much nothing else.
I remember around the tunnel, you know, standing there and feeling immense pride to be wearing their colours and captaining that team. And you know, I look behind my guys behind me, and I see like 7 or 8 captains. You know, I see real leaders: Graham Alexander and Bobby Blake and Stevie Thompson, guys that had achieved, guys that have played all over the world, really, all over Britain, different clubs, great clubs, big clubs, and I'm leading them out there, and I'm leading Burnley out there, and I was very proud, and I wanted to savour that moment. I wanted to make sure that I kind of like enjoyed it as much as I could, thinking about what was ahead, what I had to do. But I remember that well, and then I remember the plume of fire coming up as we, you know, and I remember thinking, "Jeez, it's roasting." I was melting, and I really remember that. Like I said, there's some vivid things that I'm like, you know, I can feel it right now. I'm there again, you know. And I remember taking the dignitaries along the line, saying the guys' names, and starting to feel a bit more nervous. That's about it. And then the whistle goes, and you're into the game. I remember the goal. I remember Wade's amazing strike, the way that he looked like he was going to put it in the other corner and just wrapped his foot around it at the last minute. And I remember the penalty decision, I think it was Howard with Greza, that to me, the minute it happened, I went, right, okay, they're getting a penalty. How are we going to react? And then I saw Mike Dean and he was waving it away and I couldn't believe it. And again, what do you think came into my head? Destiny, this is it. To win this game, you know, this is written in the stars, this is going to happen. I got great confidence for the fact that he never gave a pair when he probably should have.
We can never see enough of that goal, can we? I mean, that was just...
It's unbelievable. How many times you watched that? I think I watched it probably 100 times. You know, it's so perfect, you know, and I love it right for the start because he creates it. You know, what a special player he was. I played with Wade twice at Burnley and at Birmingham, and he's a very close friend of mine now. We lived together in Birmingham for a year, and he was so special. He was such a good player, Wade. He's probably one of the most underrated players I ever played with, and his little change of the hips to take it away in the midfield is unbelievable. Driving away for players. A brilliant on Chris, I think it is, Chris McCann, and then he does a top-class keeper, an international keeper in Paddy Kenny, because Paddy takes a step to the left. He's so sure Wade's going to shape that way. So wraps his foot at the last minute and it's unsavable. He's never getting back to it. What a goal, what an occasion, and you know, what a moment to score it at Wembley in front of Burnley fans. It doesn't get any better than that.
And again, his first thought was, calm down, everyone. It's not over yet. Just that ethos again.
Yeah, Wade, just typical Wade, wasn't it? Everyone's chasing him, everyone's going crazy, and he's not even sweating. He's like, relax, there's a long time to go. Let's not make too much of this. And I think he wanted to share it with his parents up in the corner. But brilliant, yeah, great moment. I don't even think I celebrated it with the guys. Back then, I hardly celebrated goals. I just got right back into my position and thought, right, okay, the next 5 minutes are crucial. We cannot concede. And I go into like crazy defender mode and think, what if? So. For me, goals are bittersweet. I get the sudden rush of adrenaline and euphoria, and then I get like, oh no, okay, we need to make sure that this is for something, And so I definitely had that day, and Clarky and I were probably screaming at each other, trying to keep concentration to get ready for what was probably to come.
You enter football as a professional footballer, probably the one thing you dream about, other than playing for your country, is lifting a trophy at Wembley Stadium. What an event, what an occasion.
Ah, yeah, like definitely dreamt it so many times. And people always ask me, I'm fortunate enough played at Hampden in Glasgow for Scotland, and I played obviously at Wembley for Burnley. And what's more important, and the crazy thing is, as a Scotsman, I'm ashamed to say, but I always really wanted to play at Wembley. It seemed like so kind of exotic to me, watching these FA Cup finals and watching '92 European Cup final when Ronald Koeman's the goal for Barcelona against Sampdoria. It was like, this Wembley, it's like, it's incredible. Then I visited a couple of times with Newcastle where, I got to watch the team I played for at the time playing an FA Cup final and then an FA Cup semi-final. And, I'm like, I'm near the pitch now because I'm getting there, but I'm still too young, or I'm still a bit away, and eventually to get there. And with a club like Burnley, it means more to me because, we've never been back since, and who knows when we are getting back there. It doesn't come around very often, and you need to cherish it and savour it, and to play there, walk up these steps, to share it with the fans, picking up scarves and hugging people, and I can watch a million times as well, and I hug someone in the forces, I think, who grabs me on the way up and embraces, and just you're walking as slow as you can, but it's going too fast. You're like, please slow down. I just wanted to savour it forever. I want to be in this moment forever. And eventually you get to the top. We had that moment as a team underneath, didn't we, where Duffo did his stupid dance and we were all cheering and laughing and hugging each other. And I remember that vividly, and I remember that as one of my favourite memories of the whole day, the whole time, because it was just like me and my mates, enjoying this as a group, but there's probably 500 million people watching on television, at that moment, and everyone else ready for us to step out there. But to me, it was just us guys just savouring the moment.
It was incredible. I mean, it didn't sink in for days afterwards. You guys stayed out in London after the game. Was there a party booked already? Had you already planned something, or was it very impromptu? Because I remember staying down with you. I'll tell people now a little story. I'll forever be in your debt because I wasn't staying down. I was coming back, but I was forced to stay down, and you paid for a bed for me for the night in a hotel. But the party that was on that night, was it planned? I can't.
Crazy story. So I went to Owen probably when we got back from Portugal and said, we need to book a hotel for after the game party, a room. And Owen said, get out of here. I don't want to hear any of it. Enough. And I said, what? And he's like, we can't book a party until we've played the game. I said, look, we're booking an event. Like, we're going to celebrate, win or lose. I nearly said win, lose or draw. You can't draw in the playoff final. Win or lose, we're going to have a beer with each other and drown our sorrows or celebrate. I don't want to hear any. Get out of my office. Kick me out of the office. Go away. Okay, I'll organise the party. So, with the help of Pauline, I took it on myself to find a hotel. I can't remember why I selected the Marriott where I did, central London, and got a good rate. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the Bull, anywhere apart from the Bull at that point. And found a nice Marriott, booked the guys a room, got us a rate, said to the guys that collected $100. I think we had some £100, and been in Canada too long. So used some money that we had from a player's pool or whatever, so kind of subsidise this thing. And, we get down to London and everything's ready for us after the game. Our families are all going to come back to this hotel and hopefully we're going to celebrate, or worst case, we're going to, have a beer together. And then Owen, we win the game and Owen comes to me and he goes, "What's happening with the party?" And I said, "I don't know, you tell me." He's like, "Well, I heard you had organised something." I'm like, "I've not got your room." So he's like, "Come on, Skipper." I remember being at the reception desk after the game and, saying, "Can we get you being one of them, Daz, Sandy, Steve, Phil, and trying to get you guys that were kind of wanted part of that initial arrangement a room and managing to get it done just a bit." So it was crazy and it was typical Owen, but I was laughing so much because he just could not, his superstition could not allow him to organise something until it had happened,
I'll be forever in your debt for that, because you stayed by our side till everybody got the room sorted, and by the right time, the rest of the lads were sick in. They'd gone by that stage. It was incredible. We came straight back the next day as well for the open top tour. So with a big night, and then straight back on the bus back up, and it was celebrated with the Burnley fans on another amazing night back in Burnley.
Yeah, terrific. We woke up the next day, didn't we? We were hungover and came down to breakfast. Duff was on like the second bottle of champagne by this point. And I'm like, okay, we may as well get back on it. And then, we were in our families having breakfast, people coming at different times, and everyone heading back. I never got in the bus. There was probably a bus there, but I got in the car with my kids and my family and headed back to, I guess, my home near Manchester first, quick change, and then up to Moore. And by that point, I was exhausted and very drunk, hungover. That feeling where you realise you need to stop. By that point, I was feeling the wares of the celebrations.
It was a quiet bus back, I can tell you that for sure. But once you got back and you got on the open top tour, the town came out too. Those are amazing memories that I've still got very fond.
Very fond. We get you, like I say, we get back, there's a snooze in the car, you wake up, you're grumpy, you're hungover, we've got this thing and you've got to get in the car again, go through to Turf Moor. And there was sort of feeling of like, I don't know, it's anticlimactic, I guess. And then you get to Turf Moor and you take the first turn out the stadium and you see all these people, and all of a sudden you're on the ceiling again. I was overwhelmed with the support on the streets. It was remarkable how many people had came out to celebrate us. And one of my favourite memories of that whole time is that open top bus to have it with the fans. And like I said, I wasn't, I'd had it before with Sunderland as well, and I should have knew it was going to be awesome. It was brilliant that time when we did it around Sunderland, but this time was the sea of people. I could still see them. They were 7, 8, 10 deep, weren't they? The whole way, all the way up to the town hall, and then they were all over the street, all over the area outside the town hall. We were up in a balcony and we were having a laugh. Tomo had us in stitches with the things he was doing and saying, typical Tomo, and just again reveling in each other's company, getting a chance to spend time with each other and enjoy what we had achieved.
You touched on it. We'll come to the end of the chat shortly, but you touched on it there about you having 7 or 8 captains behind you at Wembley. That was a team. You were the skipper. Don't get me wrong, you were the skipper. There was a team full of leaders there, wasn't it? And Daniel Moorhouse has come up with a question. He mentions yourself and Clark Carlisle and even Duffo creating what was a remarkable rear guard. Has there ever been another strong partnership you felt that you'd formed at any other club that matched what you had at Burnley?
I love playing with Clarkie and played with Duffo at times as well. I've been fortunate. I've had some great partners, to be honest. And Curtis Davies, a partner of mine at Birmingham, sort of reminded me of Clark and I's partnership. I think there was some elements of that there, but played with Woodgate and Castle. But I love playing with Clarkie, and that the end of that season we were so solid. We were just in great tune. Clarkie was man of the match. He was brilliant at Wembley. So yeah, it was a pleasure to be his teammate. He was another one of the strong leaders, as was Duffo. Blakey, I don't want to leave in. Like everyone always thinks the leaders are like the guys that kind of play all the time and the obvious ones, but Joey could Johnson was a great leader. He was just a guy who went about his business, and you know, when he knew it had weight and it had relevance, and he had experience. He had been there. He had done it. Everybody played their part. You know, everybody had their voice. The young lads, Jay Rodriguez and Chris McCann, had big moments. Chris was more regular than Jay at that time, but two great boys, two boys that wanted to listen and learn and be part of it. We respected them a great deal. We didn't treat them like young kids. They had a voice. They could say what they wanted. They had an opinion, and that's the key to that squad. And I was the captain, but there was lots of other people. This was a collaboration. This is about a group of players like running their own dressing room. You know, we hear that so often. The players run the dressing room. Players should run the dressing room. The dressing room's for... And what happens is when the manager's right, and Owen was, and he gives the power into the dressing room because he trusts the leaders within that to do things properly and be professional and make sure the environment's perfect for the best performances possible, then you get this amazing chemistry and this blend.
I've got a question from Margaret Bretton. I'll come to in a second. We go in there, and we should probably mention Owen. I mean, in many ways, it all ended very sourly for Owen. There's a lot of bitterness still and resentment around the town. And perhaps it's time to let that go now. I mean, you know, he was manager at a remarkable time for the football club. And without Owen, would we have had what we had? I don't know. It just seems to me that, you know, we should let bygones be bygones a little bit now and move on from that, because he was an integral part of a great part of our history.
Yeah, let it go and move on. And I urge every Burnley fan who's watching this to do so, because it would never have happened with two men, really. And most importantly is Owen Coyle as a leader of that. And obviously someone that I recognise is Steve Cotterill, who brought me to this club. Steve Cotterill signed a lot of the players that were successful in that team, and he set it up, and it wasn't right for Steve to take it on. And Owen came in, and he was a perfect guy at the perfect time. Signed some great players of his own that added that bit of quality in areas that we needed, and Eagles and Apato, and it was just the blend that was right. So, you know, this is not the forum to talk about why people leave or why people make decisions in football, but this is a short life for a lot of us, and decisions are made for many different reasons. But Owen gave absolutely everything to Burnley Football Club when he was in charge. He masterminded one of the best seasons that they've had, and it's been taken on to whole new levels under Sean Dye, the magnificent players that now play for Burnley, and I'm so proud of that. But nothing would have happened with Owen kind of starting that along and getting it going. So I would like the Burnley fans to acknowledge that. I know he went to one of the rivals, and I know they're hurt by it, but let's let it go and let's enjoy what was started by that man and what's been taken on to, you know, the next levels by Sean Dyche and his boys.
In that camp. Margaret Bretton, just returning to Wembley, asks, who did you think was the Clarets man of the match in the final? Stevie, Clark Carlisle got the award, of course. Who was your man of the match at Wembley? Spot there, aren't I?
Yeah, you put me in the spot. I'm not that vain. I think that the joy of that team was that, you know, none of us really care. You know, none of us really. It doesn't matter. It's about the team effort. And Wade's probably pissed off. You know what he's like. Wade will be disappointed that that he never got the man of the match. But yeah, like you have to say one of the defenders or Wade, surely, you know. And Wade's goal was so special. Maybe he should have got it. But Clarkey was brilliant that day, and none of us care. It was about the bigger goal and getting Burnley back to the Premier League.
Listen, I've forgotten one thing. We left Wadey at the stadium almost. He was getting the tube back.
I missed the bus. I wasn't on that bus.
Well, you know,
I was not on that bus. I'll tell you the story. I was coming at the stadium. I was very late because I didn't want to get my kit. And I was in the change room way later than you guys. And I shared a bottle of champagne in the bath with Andy Mitchell and Lukey, the physios. And we had a good drink in the bath and a chat. And I came upstairs late. So I was always kind of chasing my tail. And when I was coming at the stadium, I saw John Park, a friend of mine, scout, who had been head of recruitment Celtic and since at Vancouver. Brilliant guy. He was watching the game, and I had a good chat with John Park. Down, and I say, "Where's the bus?" And I call Blakey or whoever, and I say, "Where are you guys?" Like, we're on the way back. We're on the way to the Marriott. And I say, you've left me. And they're like, and the gaffer's shouting, tell the skipper to get a taxi, or, he doesn't even care, and he's not coming back for me. I'm done. And so I get on the family bus. There's a family bus I see. I call my wife and I'm like, get me on this family bus. And so I run and I get the family bus. And who's on the family bus but Wade Elliott? Wade was there. So I don't know how he got on the other bus, but I was thinking, how can the team leave the captain and the goal scorer behind?
That could only Burnley.
Could only happen with us, couldn't it? Leaving the captain and the goal scorer behind. What a day.
Stevie, we'll leave it with a question through from a gentleman called Ecky Thump, properly enough. He asked, did you expect Burnley to be where we are now, being in mind that his first step towards taking the Premier League on and taking the club to the next step was 2009, of course. But could you visualise where they are now, 11 years on?
Yes and no. I think there was some great people at the club. I think that we woke up a magnificent club, a club with great history and good standing within English football. And I think we helped that club realise what was possible. And I think some smart decisions were made. Obviously we ended up going down in that first season, and then changes were made, and some stronger figures leave the club, me being one of them. And then, it's like great clubs are not about one or two people. They're about the sort of personality of the club, the history, the sort of culture of the club. And I think we set that then. And then, like I said, I think Sean Dyche coming in is just a masterstroke for Burnley. He's been so terrific for Burnley in the way that he's led the club, and the way that he's recruited, and the way that he's got into the very fabric of what it means to represent Burnley. And that's what I think is so special about Sean and what he's building and what he has there, because it sort of doesn't matter who plays or who comes in. You got to understand why you're playing for Burnley and what it means, and they guys do it, and we did it way back then. These guys still do it. There's better quality now. There's a bit more money. We could go and recruit bigger players, couldn't we? And there's some stars coming into Burnley, which maybe wasn't the case years ago. But it's all about understanding your fan base, your club, and your community. And these guys do it. And I'm so proud of watching them. I love the way that they play. I love how they're in the identity of the area and the people. And I think we're going to have some great success for a long time, and firmly established in the Premier League, but still understanding the work that needs to be done and to stay there is Sean's biggest strength. So I love watching. I'm looking forward to keep doing that in the Premier League.
It's a special club. It's a unique club, and you've been captain of that club, Steve. You've been one of my best captains in my time there. You've always been there for us, never ducked anything. You're always fronted up, and for that I'll always be grateful. And you'll always be welcome back at Turf Moor. You know that as a Wembley winning captain. How could you not be? You'll always be in our history books, and it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Thanks, Daz. Thanks, Daz.
We'll catch up soon, no doubt. When all this is all over, and you come back to Turf Moor, we'll get you a rapturous welcome pitch side. You look like you still get a game, mate.
Hello, mate. I love that. Thanks, Daz. I appreciate your words, and it was a pleasure to work with you and everybody else here. And it's a club that's still so fond to my heart. So when I'm back in England next, I'll give you a call and I'll come to a game, and I'll be supporting like the rest of the fans at Turf Moor.
Stevie, that's fantastic. That's fantastic news. And for the fans listening tonight, Bank Holiday Monday, 3:00 on our YouTube channel, or back to the fixture, is Burnley Sheffield United. How could it not be? Relive it all over again, Stevie. Join us, why don't you? Yeah.
I will do. Thanks, Daz. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for having me, mate.
Stephen. Thanks for joining us tonight, folks. It's been a pleasure. See you soon.
Hello, Clarets fans. Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications. Otherwise, you might miss moments like this.
Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it.
Just spit Glenn Little, look.
We hope you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.